The laughter in the restaurant stopped the moment she spoke. The powerful CEO, dressed in elegance, looked at the man everyone thought was the joke. Her words cut through the silence like a blade, words that left the entire room in tears. The restaurant was alive with chatter, clinking glasses, and the low hum of background music. But at one corner table, laughter echoed louder than all else. A group of young executives smirked, eyes locked on a man who sat nervously across from a woman far above his league. Or so they believed. He was dressed in a clean but faded shirt, his hands rough, the kind that knew labor, not luxury. His posture carried the weight of someone used to being overlooked. He was the janitor of their office, invited here not out of kindness, but mockery. They had set him up on a blind date with her, the CEO, and now, as the men at the bar chuckled behind their glasses, waiting for her rejection, the CEO looked straight at him. Then she spoke words that froze every smirk in the room. He had not asked for this. He had agreed to the date only because a kind colleague convinced him it might be good to try. What he didn't know was that the setup was a cruel trick. The laughter behind his back wasn't from strangers. It was from the very people who saw him every day but never truly looked at him. His name was Daniel. For years he worked quietly, sweeping floors long after the lights went out, making sure the office gleamed for the morning crowd. They passed him daily, rarely acknowledging his presence, never knowing his story. What none of them knew was that Daniel was once a soldier. He had worn a uniform with pride, carrying not only a weapon, but the weight of responsibility for the men beside him. He had endured nights of blistering cold, the smell of smoke and steel forever etched into his memory. He had buried brothers in arms whose laughter he still heard when the world fell silent. When he came home, the war followed him. Jobs were scarce and grief was heavy. The janitor's broom was not a dream, but it was honest. And in every sweep of the floor, there was discipline. In every polish of glass, there was pride. But the world did not see that. Tonight, the world saw only a joke. The executives watched, whispering as if the CEO would expose him for the fraud they imagined him to be. She, elegant in a navy dress, with presence commanding the entire room, studied him quietly. Her eyes were not mocking. They were searching. Daniel kept his gaze low, his silence shielding him from humiliation. He had known worse, after all. He had seen the worst of humanity, and so a cruel laugh was hardly a battle worth fighting. Still, his heart sank, not for himself, but for the idea that kindness seemed so rare. The tension thickened. Every passing second became a test of dignity. The men at the bar leaned in closer, one of them murmuring, "Watch this, she'll walk out any second." But instead, the CEO leaned forward. Her voice, steady yet sharp, broke through the noise. "Do you think sweeping floors makes a man small?" she asked, not to Daniel, but to the laughing crowd. The entire restaurant turned. No one moved. No one answered. She continued, her tone carrying weight that silenced even the music. "This man has more honor in his silence than most have in their careers. Do you know why? Because respect isn't measured by the title on your desk. It's measured by the life you've lived when no one is watching." Her words cut deeper than any rebuke. People shifted uncomfortably, their laughter strangled in their throats. Daniel's eyes lifted for the first time, meeting hers. And in that gaze, the truth was revealed. She knew. Somehow, she knew he had once served, that his scars weren't on his skin alone, but carried deep within his soul. One of the men tried to chuckle, to brush it off, but her next words left even him silent. "Do not mistake humility for weakness. Some heroes walk quietly, unseen, carrying burdens you could not bear for a single day." A hush fell. Glasses were lowered. Waiters paused in place. Even the air seemed to stand still. Then, something unexpected happened. A man at another table, older, with a military pin on his jacket, stood. Without a word, he raised his hand in solemn salute to Daniel. Another followed, and another. Within moments, strangers across the restaurant rose in quiet respect, not knowing the details, but knowing enough. Daniel did not speak. He did not need to. His silence was his shield, his dignity unshaken. The executives shrank in their seats, their laughter now shame, and the CEO, still holding his gaze, gave the final words that would echo beyond that night. Never laugh at the man who cleans the floor you walk on, because one day you may discover he once carried the ground you stand upon. Tears welled in eyes across the room. The cruel joke had been turned into a lesson no one would forget. The crowd sat down slowly, the weight of the moment pressing into their hearts. Daniel lowered his head again, but this time not in shame. It was gratitude, quiet and profound. The CEO's words had not only defended him, they had revealed him, and so the night ended not in mockery, but in respect. A reminder that every soul carries a story. Every quiet worker may have once been a warrior, and dignity is never found in titles, but in the truth of who we are. Respect is never wasted. The quietest people may hold the deepest strength, the greatest sacrifices, and the most untold stories. Daniel's silence spoke louder than laughter, and one woman's courage reminded the world to see beyond titles. Wherever you are watching from, share your thoughts. Do you believe respect is the greatest form of honor? Leave your comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that reveal the silent heroes walking among us every day.